What is going on, guys? This is Jay Craft with the Facebook group All Around Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California for another one of our wonderful Sunday Reseller Roundups. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in this evening as we're going to be covering a plethora of topics that you might not realize are very, very important to you as an everyday seller on multiple selling platforms. We're going to be covering issues regarding eBay, Amazon, Posh Mercari, and this week's wonderful sponsor. You can see him down below, Prairie Grit. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. We'll have some more details about Prairie Grit later and how they can improve your e-commerce business. Today we're going to be taking a look at how eBay stacked up against Amazon over the last year. We're going to be taking a look at some metrics and how those metrics can affect things in the future for you. On top of that, we're going to be looking at some changes that have happened recently to where pirate ship may not actually be the cheapest option for you. Now, they've been sponsors for us here in the past before, but I do business here with integrity, and when something changes, I feel it's important that everyone knows about it, so we're going to be talking about that here a little bit later. On top of that, we're going to be taking a deeper dive in further regarding the topic of Amazon pallets. I went on site and took a look a little bit more with what's happening, and we have a special guest by the name of Joe Rensing with Conway Resale, who we're going to be talking with tonight and picking his ear about what it means to be an Amazon pallet seller. On top of that, Prairie Grit is kicking off 90s week. We're going to be talking about that too. And we're also going to be taking a look at my pickups for the week. Now, I must say this though, my pickups are a little bit soft, and I'll tell you why. I got rained out 2 weekends in a row, but we're going to get more into that later. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the thick of things today. So thank you again for taking the time to be here. Those of you who weren't here last week, or maybe the week before, this whole setup might look new to you. We made a bunch of changes over the last few weeks, and I really do hope you appreciate them. We changed the text over here on the side to try and make it a little bit easier to read. Everything's color-coded. You're going to notice some people are in blue. We got Mindy, we got Pam, and Tim is in blue as well. So Tim has moderator privileges too. Not sure when that happened, but I trust Tim as much as I trust Mindy and Pam. So a direct thank you to our moderators as well for making sure that the comments stay clean because we are a live show. On top of that, this is a live Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them during the show, and I'll do my best to get to everyone's questions. And if we're in the middle of a news segment, I promise we'll come full circle and we'll look at them again. So thank you to the ones I can see: Mindy, Pam, Roger Kieserling, thank you for joining in, Matthew Eason, Tim Russell, and I know, who did we have? We had Donna Lockwood. She's here as well. And then a shout out to my friend, Ashley Koth. She wanted a shout out tonight, so I want to make sure I get that to her. I hope she's having a great day at her festival with her little kiddos, the cutest little cosplay kiddos I've seen in quite a little while. And I've actually got some items I'm going to be showing later for them too. On top of that, we have some other different backers. You guys might be able to notice I'm not as cut out as before. We've improved the lighting. We've improved the video resolution quality. We've done our best to improve the sound. Thank you, Matthew, for the compliment. You guys aren't going to believe the amount of adjustments that have been made to the production. And I'm also proud to say, guys, this is going to be the last week of the green screen behind me. Okay? So starting next week, we're going to have a permanent studio setup, which requires me to rearrange everything in here. And I know some of you guys aren't here to hear about me, though. Some of you guys are actually here for the news. Go figure. I would have never thought it. So we are going to be doing the news. And for that, we have a fresh background. So let's go ahead and switch over to our news background. So this is, oh, we got the wrong slide up. Let's get this, there we go. So this is our main backer now. So you're going to see this as a first kickoff for our thank you, obviously. Thank you to all of our patrons who make this possible. Those of you who don't know, this show is crowdfunded via Patreon. If you want to see e-commerce news like this survive, you want to see factual training survive, and you want to see the growth of this community, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/BoloRama. On top of that, if you guys haven't done so yet, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. If you help us get a little more traction on YouTube, more people can learn about us. And if you haven't done so yet, and somebody even asked me this, they said, Jay, is it even important to subscribe to the channel if I'm watching you every week? And I said, yes. Yes, it is. Until we have 1,000 subscribers, we cannot monetize. And monetizing means that, after the live show's over, people who are watching it later, we're able to place ads on the video, and it allows the brand Bolorama to make additional revenue, which means we can do more for our patrons. And we're going to get into all that a little bit later. I know some of you guys hear this every single week, but if you haven't done so yet, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. So, like I said, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be covering. Oh, and also a big thank you. I can't reach them because they're outside of my green screen area. Big thank you to Joe down there at the end, as well as Callie, all the way up in the corner as a top patron as well, for joining Patreon over the last 2 weeks. Those of you who don't know, I believe we skipped last week for the Super Bowl, so we've been gone for 2 weeks. So a direct thank you to the two of those who joined in, and a sincere thank you and goodbye to those who have left us. We appreciate your support for all this time. So let's get into it. So one of the big things that we're going to be talking about tonight is the gapping between Amazon and eBay. And some of you guys don't realize just how severe the gapping is. So one of the first metrics that I wanted to touch base on, and I promise you we're not going to be on news all night. We're only going to be doing this for about 15-20 minutes. One of the important metrics I wanted to talk about first was the two CEOs of the company. Now, I've met people who said, I hate Devin, I hate Jeff, or people who say, I love Devin and I love Jeff. Now, obviously, the ones who say I love Devin are fewer and far between. You know, I don't know if there's ever a time that he ever had fans or people that really chase after him. But I wanted to point out one thing for you guys. I want you to take a look at Jeff Bezos' salary, okay? Jeff is earning $1.6 million per year as CEO for Amazon. And then you're probably thinking to yourself, you're like, well, how the heck is he so rich then? Well, it's because he has like 800 million shares worth of Amazon or something, 80 million. It's some absurd number. 8 million? I don't know. It's a nutty number of shares, and that's why he's so rich. But I want you guys to take note here of how low his salary is comparative to Devin Wenig's, who's earning now $17.5 million per year. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but when we talked before about the Q4 conference call, there was a big thing that was hit on, which was G&A, which is general and administrative cost. Now, remember, when we're talking about companies like eBay and like Amazon, we're talking about a very specific sector of the market. We're talking about e-commerce brands as a whole. Now, the G&A expenditures for eBay are much, much higher than the average within their own specific field, and they're also much, much higher than other brands in separate fields that are spending less money but growing 10 times faster than the eBay brand itself. Hello to Family Flips as well. Just so you guys know, Family Flips is Joe Rensing, and we'll be looking at his interview here in about 15-20 minutes. So when we get on the topic of G&A, general administrative, okay, like I said, they are grossly overspending money. This is one of the things that was outlined in the Elliott Management letter that came out a couple of weeks ago. Now, I really wanted to do a deep dive, tear down, no holds bar, tear into eBay over the Q4 call. But very early into the call, Devin said, we are not going to talk about the Elliott Management letter. Please don't ask questions like that. And I realized very quickly that they weren't going to be having a part of it, and we weren't going to get the answers that we actually needed. This is very, very important when we think of brands like this. Transparency is very important. Those of you who don't know, Jeff Bezos is in a little bit of, I guess you could say, hot water right now. He's in the news. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but let's just say National Enquirer is involved, President Trump is involved, and FTC guideline, trade laws, practices are involved as well. Now, if you want to do your own independent research on that, by all means, go ahead. But it's a little bit crazy. But we'll move on to the next one. This is something that I wanted to show you guys as well. This shows future cash flow value, also comparative against their current share pricing. So the top bar basically is a representation of based on the amount of money that they're taking in and the overall growth of the company as a whole, where their stock should actually be valued at. Now, when you see Amazon's, obviously the dichotomy between Amazon and eBay is a little bit stark, but if we look at Amazon at the top should be valued somewhere between $849 a share, but right now it's almost double that. The reason is they're a company that's just had an insane amount of money pumped into them. Here's a fun fact for you. How much money has Amazon actually made? None. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that. Amazon is a company that has intentionally not turned a profit. Every dollar that they make, they go ahead and dump right back into infrastructure to try and grow the brand out further. Seemingly, it's working pretty well. Now, when you have a company that's as strong as they are and the value of the share is as strong as they are, they can truly get away with doing things like this. Now, if we look at eBay, we look at the inverse. Now, obviously, eBay is a much smaller company. Now, market analysts were saying 3-4 months ago that eBay was a company, or let me back that up. Analysts were saying probably about 6 to 9 months ago that eBay was a company that was on track for a $45 per share evaluation. Now, this was by, what's his name? One of the brand ambassadors for Citibank, the Asian gentleman, I can't remember his name, David Uri. He was saying that eBay was on track for a $40 to $45 per share evaluation, and the reality is that's not going to happen right now. It's a little bit of wishful thinking. So if we look at the projections say that they should be valued somewhere around $20 a share, but right now they're grossly overvalued at $35 a share. Now, mind you, Elliott Management said just a month ago that they believe that eBay can get themselves back up to $50 to $54, $56 per share. Now, the writing on the wall tells us otherwise. Now, the information that you're seeing here is an aggregation of some of the leading investors and leading market specialists when it comes to e-commerce. And I've taken all that data. It's all aggregated for you here. And this is what the experts are saying. This is not a graph, and these aren't projections that I've made. This is hundreds of industry analysts have put this data together, and I've compiled it side by side so that you can get a better perspective of where the market is on the brand. Now, why is this important for you? Okay, well, we have to understand that where we choose to do business, especially within the e-commerce sector, we have to make sure that there's strength in the brand, okay? There's strength in what we're doing. I've told people for the longest time, diversification is key. And it frankly doesn't matter exactly which platforms you go to. It's just important that you do stay diverse. So in the event that a company does fold under, that your inventory isn't stranded there and that you have the ability to continue doing business as usual. Now, obviously, we have a sponsor here who has their own e-commerce platform, but I cannot stress enough the importance of making sure that you get your inventory onto a company like Amazon and you start maturing accounts like that early. Because let's be honest, Amazon isn't going anywhere. Now, obviously their share value at $16.40 a share is a little bit ludicrous, and the reality is it's going to stay that way for a long time. But your diversification is important for you as an e-commerce seller. Now, if we bump it over to this next one, this is going to be a little bit more information, and I'm going to start right here in this middle section. Okay. Now, some of this is going to be a little bit hard to see, and I apologize for that. But the top bar, you see that colored bar that's a little bit greenish, bluish, and purple? The top one represents Amazon. The whole top of the screen is Amazon. The whole bottom of the screen is eBay. Let me make my window a little bit bigger so I can see it a little bit better. Now, if we look at the top, now institutions, just so you guys know, institutions would be like hedge funds and investing firms and even brands that can own percentages of the company. Now, if we look at Amazon at the top, we can see that about half of Amazon is owned by institutions or investment funds, hedge funds, and stuff to that effect. We got about a quarter of it being owned, or maybe a little more than a quarter being owned by the general public. And then that last one, what is that green one? I can't even see that. Individual. Oh my gosh, what does that say? I am so sorry, guys. This graphic, it's a little bit tricky to see, but it's not even the most important part of it. I just wanted to stress and show the importance of the fact that the general public owns a lot of shares of Amazon. The reason that they're doing that is because the general public has a lot of faith in Amazon. Not only are they users of the brand, but they see the vertical direction that the brand's going. When you have a company that a quarter of the company is owned by the public, that shows strength. Now, when we look at eBay down here, okay, we got this little itty-bitty sliver, and we have the hedge funds and investors taking up over 90% of the total value of the company right now. That's a little bit crazy. If we go all the way to the far end, okay, this little chart over here, this is the PE, which is your profit over earning multiplier. And without getting too far into things, the PE basically reflects the amount of money that you put into a company and your expected time to be able to recoup a profit on that, or the amount of profit you can expect to receive over time. So when you have a company that cost, let's say 78.1x multiplier, the amount of return you're going to get for every dollar that you put in is going to be low. So you're going to put in $78, and per year on average you can expect a $1 return for every $78 you put in. Essentially is how that's working. Now, you have a company down here like eBay where you're looking at 13.7. You only have to invest, $13 for every $1 that you're going to get back. So in reality, the earning potential for shareholders and investors is going to be greater with eBay. But the reason why The reason why people are willing to pay that premium is because it's Amazon. They're willing to spend $78 to be able to get a $1 return because they know they're going to get that dollar back. Okay, that's the important thing. This all boils down to brand confidence at the consumer level and the investor level. If consumers don't believe in a brand, and people can see that, guess what? Investors don't believe in that brand. And when investors don't believe in that brand, what's going to happen? Less money coming into eBay, less room for growth, less room for productivity, mergers and acquisitions. And if we look just below those bar graphs above, this right here represents shares being sold. Okay, now the red ones represent people who work for eBay selling shares of eBay. Okay, we had over the course of the last year, we had something like 80 million, somewhere in that area, worth of shares get sold off from people who work for eBay. Now, these records are public. They have to make them public, and FTC guidelines require that to be so. But if we look up to Amazon, is anyone at Amazon selling shares? No. Are any of the institutions dumping shares? No. Everyone believes so strongly in that company, they're holding on to it. If we look all the way up into the corner on the other side, we're going to see that the risk and growth potential, earning growth versus low risk savings, Amazon's at 2.7%, just basically meaning it's a very, very strong investment. This speaks volumes to anyone who is for some reason or another holding on to a 401k. Now, remember, this show is for entertainment purposes only. Please do not take what I am saying as an investing strategy. Invest your own money, your own risk, yada, yada, yada. This is for entertainment. But if you have a 401k and you've been thinking, where should I invest my money? What are one of the strongest companies? Keep in mind, Amazon is considered one of the four horsemen at this point. You have Amazon, Viacom Media, which owns like everything under the sun media-wise. Netflix is working their way up there too. I mean, you have these a handful of really big brands, which are essentially blue chip brands. That's a company that you want to be dumping your money into. We got some comments coming in. Mindy says, doing what? What does he do? What does he do to deserve that salary? She's referring to David Wenning, and I'll tell you, he does not do much. That's the thing about it. He's really lost touch with the user base, and we're going to be touching base on that here in a little bit. Roger Kiesling says, my stock investor friends pulled eBay stock and added it to Amazon 3 weeks ago. I'll be honest, 3 weeks ago was a little bit late to the party. That was one of the lowest times that eBay has had. Now, me personally, if I had money in eBay, would I pull it? No. I would say ride that bad boy out until we see a higher evaluation. What are they at right now? $33, $34, $35 a share? I can expect to see eBay take an uptick closer to $38 or $39 a share before we start seeing a downturn again. Now, was it the worst time to pull it out? No. Okay, close to, but you have to remember we had this nice big uptick after the Elliott management letter came out. So the market's kind of been a little bit all over the place. Now, like I said, we have an expected annual growth for Amazon, 26.6%. Now, if we look at what the industry leaders are saying over here in regards to eBay, we're looking at a 1.3% expected annual earning growth minus. We're expecting them to lose money over the next year. Now, remember what Devin said on his Q4 call just 2 weeks ago? He said 2019 is going to be the year of growth, and 2018 was the year that we worked to rebuild the brand so that we could have a big 2019. Well, if that's true, why are industry experts projecting a loss for eBay coming over the next year? Now, the only thing I can say in defense of eBay, eBay's turned a profit. eBay's been able to pay dividends. Now, have they been able to pay them at such an aggressive rate that, where people are really like over the moon and happy with what they're getting? Not exactly. But it's going to be tumultuous, to say the least. I'm really, really curious to see what's going to be happening in the future for eBay and Amazon when we look at them side by side. Now, if you have any questions about any of these slides, any of the conjecture I've given you, please, by all means, feel free to ask. And I also want to specify while I'm here on this screen, the PE numbers, you're seeing 13.7x and you're seeing 78.1x. Now, keep in mind that the little orange bar or that pinkish salmonish color that you're seeing there is a representation of the average for online retail. So online retail encompasses all brands. We're talking Etsy, Posh, Mercari, Overstock, Target.com, Walmart.com. And there's other news with Walmart that I forgot. Somebody remind me at the end of the show. We got to talk about Walmart too. If we're looking at this bar up here, the average is close to a 30x PE. So eBay is grossly underperforming, less than a 50% factor comparative to other online marketplaces, other brands that are selling stuff online. Now, if we look at the market as a whole, all brands across all categories, they are still falling behind the industry average for any company doing anything. That's a little bit scary. Okay, especially for a company that's been around for so long already. And like I said, I know this is a ton of information to take in, but it's so important to understand these things. Now, keep in mind, though, if you see a company with a PE, whether it's a current one, profit over earnings for now, or whether you see what they call a future profit earnings, which is a projection on what's going to be happening, which we'll probably have for you next week. Remember, a low PE does not necessarily mean that a company is doing bad. Okay, and a high one isn't necessarily a reflection of a company doing good. It can be kind of signs of growth within a brand if you see certain factors, but you're going to want to consider all things when deciding whether or not you want to invest into either one of these brands. So I just want to make sure that that was very, very clear. We got some more comments in. Stone's Throw, hey, all late to the game. That's me. Welcome back. Happy to have you. Roger again chimes in. Thank you for that. eBay lost perspective. eBay products have never been significant, but the sellers and the community of buyers and sellers were interchangeable, and that relationship is what made eBay great. And Mindy chimes in as well. With only 20% of eBay being sold by people like us, it's no wonder. And I had a wonderful talk last night. A gentleman named Shane, who has has a YouTube channel as well. And if you see it right now, I'd love it if you dropped your channel name. And I apologize, I don't have it on hand. But we had a long phone call last night, and we talked about how eBay is no longer concerned with sellers like ourselves. And there was something that I forgot to touch on during our previous show, in the fact that no one is making a big deal about the fact that accounts that have higher than the average defect rates are being charged more per month in final value fees to be serviced. Basically meaning you're paying more money because we have to deal with more of your problems and more of your customers. Now here's the problem. It's not a gold standard. It's not like 2% or 3%, 4%. It's nothing like that. The number that they're looking at is being higher than the industry average within that specific category. Okay? So what they're basically saying is that, and I'm surprised nobody even caught this, they're targeting used sellers by doing this. Why? Because used products have a higher likelihood, just naturally speaking, of having a defect. They're harder to describe. They're harder to deal with problems. People who buy used stuff can expect the world. And if you're one of those people who either does RA or drop shipping, or you work with wholesalers, or you're a private label, you know what I'm talking about when I say working with brand new products is so much easier than working with used products. Okay? So with this type of action happening, I look at it as eBay trying to find another way to squeeze out that last 20% of us diehard holdouts who are trying to, trying to keep our home here on eBay. It's a little bit scary in all reality. Now, that being said, this would be a fantastic time to talk about this week's sponsor, Prairie Grit. Those of you who don't know, Prairie Grit is a brand new e-commerce platform that is proudly accepting PayPal, and one of the biggest things that they have going for them, there is no final value fees. You pay one cost per month and you can list and sell unlimited items on the platform. No final value fees. So with me, someone like myself, I spend probably $400, $500, $600 a month on my eBay bill. Over at Prairie Grit, I get unlimited action. I can list 10,000 items. I can sell $10,000. It costs me $100 a month. All the action I want. So if you haven't checked them out yet, please do. prairiegrit.com/free month. Get your free month today. Okay? Guaranteed. You pay nothing. And they'll even send you a reminder before your month is up. So check them out. Anything you want to sell, your business, your way. You don't want to take returns, don't take returns. So let's take a look at these comments before we transition on over. Oh, we got Power Reselling in the house as well. If you haven't checked out Corey Barlow's channel, sorry, it took me a moment there. I don't have the avatars on anymore. I don't know if you noticed that, so it takes me a little bit longer to recognize people. If you haven't checked out Corey Barlow's channel yet, please make sure you do. Family Flips is in the house as well. Please check out their YouTube channel too. They're both awesome. You guys are going to love them all. Family Flips is, I got so many great things to say about them. Like I said, we're going to be hearing from them here in just 1 second. So definitely going to want to check them out. Let's see. We pay about $2,500 a month to sell on eBay. Holy cow. Yeah, Family Flips is joining the Prairie Grit family as well, and we hope all of you come and join this family too. So, that being said, guys, Amazon, holy cow, this pallet situation is getting a little bit crazy. Now, I'm not going to drone on. Everything you're going to need to see is here. So, go ahead and sit back, grab yourself a little bit of popcorn. If you're feeling a little feisty, maybe grab yourself a drink while you're at it. I'll be right back with you in just a little bit. Today I'm out here at the Bakersfield swap meet trying to avoid the rain, but while I'm out here, I'm trying to find Amazon pallet sellers that are out here. We have one setting up behind us. It's about 8 a.m. and you'll come to see that they're some of the first people to come out here and get set up. They have a variety of goods, everything ranging from consumer electronics all the way up to high-end handbags and more. We're going to be seeing everything that gets sent back to Amazon, as well as items that are marked for removal from Amazon sellers. We're going to try and get some people on camera to speak about it, but most people just aren't willing to talk about the pallets today, so most likely we're just going to be panning over their inventory with a little bit of voiceover by me. So I want you guys to take a peek and see if you've seen any of this stuff at your swap meet as well, or if this is just something that I'm seeing myself here in the Central Valley. I really want everyone to understand the sheer scale and the amount of inventory that is actually coming out to the swap meet. This is just one booth that I stopped at that has somewhere in the area of about 5,000 to 10,000 pieces at it. Most of the inventory being smalls or medium-sized items, which will be important to understand later. Everything that you are seeing out here is Amazon returns, and then there is also a mix of store returns as well. As you can see some of these power tools here, these are store returns. This is the next booth that I popped into, and unfortunately I couldn't get anyone who wanted to speak on camera during this process, which I do understand completely. A lot of people are very tight about the things that they're doing out here, and unfortunately there are people who are not here working legally who are out selling this inventory to the public. So you will see some people actually duck behind their tents or back into their vehicles as I pan around with the camera. I felt now would be a good time to jump back to the office and explain just a little bit more of what's going on and why this is important to me. I want to make it clear that I'm not trying to stop anyone who's trying to do their business, anyone who's trying to make their money. My goal is to try and figure out where is all of this coming from, and is it going to stop? I don't think people really understand how dangerous it is to have a massive surplus of quality goods that no one needs. If we're looking at the footage, we're looking at tens of thousands of items that are just pouring in, and this is just in one town, and the town can't keep up with it. Where's the rest of the inventory going? What is going to happen when no one wants to buy these pallets anymore, and then the warehouses fill up, and then vendors like you and I can no longer send stuff in? That's really what I want to know. So I've taken things a little bit further, and I plan to take things much, much further in the future. My next stop today was at an auction house where I saw an unbelievable amount of larger goods that were not only Amazon returns, but also a handful of store returns mixed in as well.
30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 5, 5, 5, 5, say 5, get 5, all $30, $30, bid of $5, sold at $30, bid number is 64.
Up next, we speak with Joe Rensing, a man who has taken his passion for resale up to the next level and has begun buying pallets in his hometown of Conway, Arkansas. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft from the Facebook group Boulder on Pickers Lounge. I'm coming at you again with a very special presentation. Last week we had someone on speaking about the topic of retail arbitrage, and this week we have a specialist who deals in Amazon pallets, purchasing and reselling. It is Joe Rensing with Conway Resale. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing great, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I truly do appreciate that. So, right off the bat, who are you within the Amazon ecosystem, and what would you like us to know?
Yeah, my name is Joe Rensing, and we sell on Amazon, eBay. Kind of what we do is, or what we're doing now, our business has kind of evolved over the last year. Just we're trying to keep up with the changing times. And we started buying pallets of Amazon returns back in August of last year. and now we are buying whole truckloads of pallets.
Yeah, I've been watching your story from the backside. I remember you came onto the scene, right around August of last year, and you're starting to dabble in it. I saw your last post with that full truckload, and you went from single pallets to full truckloads of inventory. How has this whole experience been for you? I mean, were you in this industry before? Or?
I've been in a full-time reseller for 4 years, and part-time for about 3 or 4 years before that. And we're about to have somebody walk by. We might have to answer that question again. There should be.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll roll with it.
I know you can edit.
No, you're inside of a busy warehouse. This is what people need to see. They need to see the growth and the development of a brand like yours.
Cool. So, 4 years ago, we went full-time. I was in the food and beverage industry for a number of years. Since I was 14, general manager for Cracker Barrel, Chili's, all that. I got tired of it. Started flipping cell phones in a 26-foot Winnebago, and just buying and selling phones. And I don't know, if you're on Facebook, you've probably seen that Daniel or David with the K something about flipping phones. I didn't do the high-end phones. I found a specialty niche dealing with a lot of flip phones, slider phones, 3 and 4 year old prepaid smartphones from like Boost Mobile, Metro, PCS. I just found this niche and was very successful in it. But with anything, you've got to buy low and sell high. And I found last year one of my main suppliers started selling the phones differently. Before, I'd buy big lots of phones, like 20, 30 phones at a time, that would have really good phones mixed in with really crappy phones that were broken, or slider phones, just not very desirable phones, which kept the overall cost of goods low. But probably around this time last year, they started putting all the good phones in lots of 4 or 5 or 6 or 10, which drove the prices way up, which was good for them, but bad for me. So as I was going through stuff, I was buying from like B-Stock Solution, buying lots of Walmart return phones from there, and kind of evolving. I'm like, man, I've got to get some stuff that's cheaper if I'm going to continue to be successful, if I'm going to continue growing. If it was just me operating out of a bedroom out of my house, the cost of goods that I was buying the phones for would have been profitable. We would have been able to make some good family money for our family. But I'm a go-getter. I like to dream big. I like to go after it and build, businesses. And so working on my own just wasn't going to cut it. So we stumbled across buying a pallet. Our first pallet we ever bought was from liquidation.com, and it sucked. It was a manifested pallet, and I bought it because of those Instapots, the pressure cookers. It was supposed to have like 5 on them, right? But they don't tell you whether the stuff is good or bad. And we got the pallet in, and it was all junk. Everything was either missing pieces or it was broken. I think the only thing that I enjoyed was we got a brand new pot and pan set out of it that I think was missing one of the pans. But the rest of it, I just gave it all away because it sucked. I didn't like it. But I remained hopeful, so I just started looking around on all these different Facebook, groups with pallet people who sold pallets and stuff. I stumbled across American Pallet Liquidators. They talked to them, asked lots of questions, and there's no pallet liquidators here in Arkansas, even though we're in Walmart capital of the world. They don't really have any pallet liquidators for what I was doing. So with American Pallet Liquidators, they had Amazon pallets, that I talked with many salespeople there. This was the pallet that they recommended, since I was never actually able to come look at the pallets. There's, they sell like Walmart black wrap pallets, Lowe's pallets, all kinds of pallets. But for those, if you're buying individual pallets, you can get burned. And I think that's kind of the thing where a lot of people stray or shy away from buying returns, is because you can get one pallet and it sucks, which our first pallet sucked. So we went ahead and we bought 2 Amazon medium box pallets in August of last year. We got them in. We liked them.
Now, what kind of pricing are you talking about for these individual pallets back in August?
They were $500 for each pallet, and then we end up having to pay around $220 per pallet to have it shipped. And at this point in time, we were in a 1,000 square foot office space. We didn't have loading dock. We didn't have any of that. So, they had to bring the drop truck and unload it for us, which was like an extra $40 charge per pallet. And but we got the pallets in, and it was good stuff. I think the first pallet we got was a 3D printer. We got that in. We were hooked because that printer, it paid for one of the whole pallets, and it was a brand new printer. Hadn't even been unboxed. It was just, I have no idea why they returned it, but it hadn't been unboxed.
So now you're buying truckloads now. How many pallets go onto a truckload?
24 pallets. And you can get other for this specific one. You can get some that have like 28 pallets and some even 32, depending on how they stack them.
Okay, let me ask too. Now, from August when you started, was there any difficulty in getting pallets? Like, if you had an infinite budget, could you get as many pallets as you wanted, or was it pretty tight as far as what you were able to get then?
You can get as many as you want.
Okay, and even to this day today, you can get as many pallets as you can afford, correct?
Yes, the pallet that I'm buying now that I really like is the Amazon. If I could talk, the Amazon small box pallets. A specific kind. I don't have. There's some that you can get that have food and books in them. They're a little bit more pricier, I imagine, because of the books. But these, they don't have any books, no food, so the price is a little bit less. But for these, there's a waiting list of about 7 to 21 days. But I mean, they told me 3 weeks on the last one, but then they messaged me in like 5 days and said it was ready. And I could pick it up whenever I was ready.
In all reality, that's a small wait for what you want.
Yeah, it is.
Now, the main reason I wanted to have you on today, obviously, we want to let people know about Conway Resale, especially people in your area, or how they can connect with you online if they want to, make some purchases or getting into pallets and stuff like that. But I myself have seen a large difference in the quantity as well as the quality of goods that I've seen over here in California. So when we're dealing with these pallets, is it safe to assume it's a mix of returns, items being marked for removal from Amazon stores, like customer change mind type situations? It's a combination of all of that, right?
It is.
Now, you started in August, okay? So we're, 5-6 months out. And again, congrats on your growth. Have you seen a difference in the quality of goods or even the quantity of available specific types of goods in that time?
I think they're probably doing a better job of, or Amazon is, of sorting the goods and distributing amongst where they're going. What I mean by that is we don't get really any high-end electronics. Like, we don't get computers. We don't get... cameras or TVs or digital cameras or video game systems. So I know that they are doing a better job of distributing that or I can't even think. I'm having a brain fart right now.
That's fine.
But organizing those pallets and those goods at their return centers to where they're able to get a lot more money for a pallet of computers or high-end electronics. We don't get those. Kind of our goal and why we get what we get is because there's not a lot of other places here in Conway, Arkansas that we can sell a lot of this stuff. Like we do bargain bin sales here. So like we sell online. About 33% of all the items we get, it either goes to our Amazon store or our eBay store or both. And then the other 66%, it gets sold in those bins behind you. You can see behind me there's some black bins that we do bargain bin sales. We sell everything is usually $4 or under. There's some $2, some $1. Granted, we have some items that are $10, $15 that we kind of put all this stuff. It's items that are generally $20 to $30 in value. That they're not really conducive for shipping because shipping's going to cost $10. And you got eBay fees and PayPal fees and all that. That we just mark it down and get rid of it here.
Now, two other questions for you. Have you seen any new type of stuff coming into your pallets over the last month or two that you haven't seen in previous months? I've personally started to see certain types of products showing up at the swap meet. Don't want to put words in your mouth, but have you seen any changes in the types of inventory you're getting?
It's a lot of Chinese goods, a lot of items from China for these specific pallets. Granted, around this time of year, I think we probably should have waited about 2 or 3 weeks to purchase this truckload because I was wanting to get a lot more Christmas items from this truckload. And I didn't really see a whole lot of Christmas stuff. There was a few items, but most of this, you know, it wasn't a lot of that, which I was hoping for. I think if we would have waited a couple more weeks, we probably would have seen some more of that start hitting the truckloads of stuff. But as far as stuff, I mean, I don't know if I could confidently comment on. I mean, we've only been in this for 6 months now, so for us, I mean, this is the second truckload of stuff that we've gotten in. You know, maybe the third or fourth truckload we can probably start to tell, but I know, I just from reading articles and talking to people, that I know that Amazon is getting more strategic with their organization with what goes where on what pallets and what gets sold to liquidation.com and then all these other places. I know there's some places, some truckloads you can get where it's all brand new shelf pull stuff. But obviously, you know, the price, you know, we paid $7,500 for these 24 pallets, and we'll probably net, you know, 80 to 100,000 in retail sales from it, and you know, profit margin, you know, probably 30 or 40 grand will profit from this truckload, and which is, you know, in my opinion, that's pretty good.
Oh, damn skippy it is. How long does it take you to process all those pallets?
We got into 24 a couple weeks ago. We really just started going through the pallets last week. And we sold probably 3 or 4 pallets of stuff at the bargain bin sales that we had last week. And we've got, I don't know, several hundred items already listed on Amazon or eBay. So it'll probably take 5, maybe 6 weeks to process a whole truckload. And granted, you know, I've got 2 full-time employees, and I've got my wife who helps out when we're not homeschooling and stuff. So I mean, it's 3 people.
God knows you're putting hours in too.
Yeah.
When you're at the top, you're just going nonstop, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So now you talk about the Chinese goods. You said we're seeing a bit more of that. You know, maybe not a crazy amount, but certainly a visible change.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to a point yet where you've had to throw away stuff that you just simply feel won't sell, even if it's brand new?
Yeah, I got one. Like even this, I've been giving these away. You can tell by marketing, it sucks. What this is, it's they're stickers you put on your cell phone, and then you can stick it to a wall. And I mean, I think they're $6 on Amazon, but I didn't even feel right selling them here at my bargain bin sales. I was just giving away because, I mean, it's kind of a dumb product in my opinion. You know, I'm about money and stuff, but as a business person, if you don't believe in the product, you're going to have a hard time selling it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, you know, there's some stuff that I'm like, I know it's going for, I mean, I don't know. Here's my deal. You know, I love this business. I'm in this business because of the consumeristic nature of the American culture. But at the same time, it's really opened my eyes, and it's kind of sickened me in the way of how much we pay for stuff and how much junk we actually buy that we don't really need. And
I'm even like going further back, and I'm looking at the amount of junk that's being made. You know, I was talking with a reseller the other day who's, you know, our Goodwills have been catching Target items like that fail to sell. You know, items that he was telling me about a Star Wars collectible that was $150, and then it got marked down to $60, and then ended up at Goodwill down for $20. And you know, there was multiple of them on the shelf. And you know, if you go online, look at the secondary market, it's around $50. And you know, the size of it, there's no meat on the bone, even at a $20 buy. And it just really started to make me think of just all of the junk that's being made, that there's truly not enough consumers to buy what's out there. And I've been going around the swap meets, and you know, I'll be playing some footage with this, showcasing, you know, the massive tables of, you know, screen protectors and really dated cell phone cases, and you know, stuff like the stickers right there, just tat and rubbish. And I see even the trash cans there, the vendors are just throwing stuff away at this point because they know that, you know, because your space is valuable. You know, that you only have a finite amount of it, and you really want to put stuff out that's going to sell. And I see vendors just starting to throw stuff away, and it kills me to see this. And now, to add on to that, do you feel that there's any chance we could get to a point of hypersaturation to where you're holding so much of this stuff and all these other resellers are holding so much of this stuff, and especially as Amazon starts gating down more and more categories and saying you can't sell this, you need to be approved to sell this. Do you have any concerns of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think at some point in time, we're all operating within a window of time. As people who are selling on Amazon, eBay, there is a window of time that we have available to us before the U.S. economy, it's going to collapse. I don't think it can sustain the current buying habits and the way that we live. It's not sustainable. Yeah. So I think, for me, is I'm taking advantage of the time that we do have available. And that's why when we
I wouldn't even say taking advantage. I'd say you're making the most of it and positioning yourself and your family so that if this happens, that you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. I think with that is like, we don't charge top dollar for stuff. Our selling practices is like we've got so much stuff that I'm not trying to get top dollar for something. For everything that we price it below the market. Everything on Amazon that we have, I think we have about 200 Amazon listings now that we just started selling on there about 2 weeks ago. Everything is priced below the market value. On eBay, everything is priced below market value because, for us, we're getting a great deal on this stuff. It's for us is we want to be able to save people money. Yes, we want to make money, but making, I've made money. I was 27. We just got to sell. Sorry about the $87 laser alliance. And I forgot where I was going.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, one other thing I wanted to touch on. We'll just come full circle because I know you're on limited time right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about the level of hyper-consumerism. Really what it is, and just the very just tight window that we work in. How far out do you feel we are from the point of popping? As an industry professional now, where do you think we're at?
Yeah, I think a lot of that really depends on, who's sitting in the Oval Office, to get political.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of that really depends on the upcoming election in 2 years. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm pro-Trump. I'm pro a lot of his policies. I think, at this point, you kind of know what you're going to get.
I think we're pro a strong economy.
Yes.
Is really what it is. I could care less, who sits in that office. For vendors like ourselves, independent, not collecting hourly, a strong economy allows the average consumer to spend money on, let's be honest, luxury items. There is not one item that's behind you that is a quality of life necessary. Like you're not selling blankets and water and roof tiles. You're selling luxury left to right.
Yeah.
None of that is necessary, and I'm the same way. That consumerism. So
I think for us is we have a goal of this year to diversify. Is all this stuff? It's all want stuff. Probably 95% of the stuff we have they're want items. Like they're not items that people need on a daily basis. Our goal, because I do believe online sales is the way that it is going to go. But if for long term, if we're going to stay successful as a reseller, an online seller, we're going to have to diversify into items that people need every single day. That they need it. They're not going to want it in the window of time. I think maybe 4 to 7 years, really depending on how the elections continue going. But there's so many different variables that go into that. But I don't know. I feel like just a 4 to 7 year window for me personally. That's kind of what I'm looking at in taking advantage of this 4 to 7 years to use this to I always want to do this, but we want to have multiple other businesses. We want to be able to diversify our business portfolio and what we do to be able to combat the economic times and the unsteadiness that we have.
Yeah, no, diversification, I agree with you wholeheartedly, is key, and especially if you can work your way into those necessary, high quality of life type things beyond the luxury of
Yeah.
So, the other thing, too, to add on to that is, the types of products that you're dealing in right now and how it differs from non-pallet buyers is your product is a virtually infinite product. You know, you have almost an endless supply, but not necessarily through you, but anyone else. And I tell people, you know, when it comes to diversification, if you can get into something that's more finite, whether it be collectibles or hand-sourced goods from thrift stores, however you diversify to strengthen that portfolio, it's going to be great for you.
Yeah, and I think also, I remember I was going to go earlier, I think now with all the private labeling, you know, especially with Amazon, is out that there's so much of that, and there's so many people making money from, you know, teaching people how to do private label stuff and how to do this. And then you got, you know, Alibaba, I think is the name of it. You can go on and you can find people to, you know, make your stuff for cheap. You know, we get a lot of that stuff. And I can see how that is resulting in getting a lot of stuff and in the overabundance of stuff, because everybody's trying to make money. Everybody, you know, they're really, unless you have an infinite amount of money, I'm talking about like billions, there really is no passive income, in my opinion. You've got to work for it. Yeah. And I think there are so many resellers out there, and Amazon and eBay, that have sold this passive income way of life of buy all the stuff, send it into Amazon, you know, have them ship it for you. But I see the failures. You know, I see the cases and cases of stuff, of junk, of failed labels or failed brands, and failed products that just weren't marketed properly. You know, I see that, and I think, you know, with that, it's again, you know, it's the free economy. It's the people, I'm not going to say taking advantage of, but people working within the system, and you know, the people who want a better life, but they don't really want to work for it in that way.
They want a quality of outcome without a quality of effort, is what it is.
And it doesn't,
you know, these programs, you know, there are some that have some merit, but when we're looking at cookie cutter programs where it's, you know, blank, get rich in 90 days, and we can just interchange that name with, you know, 5,000 different people online right now, and it's basically saying, you know, do this, you can cut to the front of the line, you can have your own private label, and then you're going to make it. You're going to be fine. But, you know, just like with me and you, there seems to be this misconception that if you work for yourself, you don't really work that much. But the reality is, and you've heard it too, you know, all you got to do is buy stuff and sell it. You know, you must have a great time. Look at all the stuff you get. And people don't realize we work harder than pretty much everyone who's working their traditional, you know, 8 to 8, who has a finite number of hours that they work. You know, the moment we get off the line, I know you got to go here in a second, you're right back to work. You've got stuff you got to do immediately.
Because you're accountant, you're a marketing director, you are human resources director, you're a line level employee,
customer relations, human resources,
and that takes time. I mean, I don't think as human beings, you know, very few people are able to change tasks and change mindsets that quickly. In my opinion, there's a loss of productivity that does happen when you change job functions so much. You know, working in the restaurant industry for so long, you know, changing the job functions, there's a loss of productivity because you have to change your mindset. You know, that's why I always try and have a routine every single day, to where every Monday I do this, Tuesday I do this. Instead of doing a little bit of this every single day, I try to break it up into one day, just so you're not having to change job function mindsets and jump in and out of different tasks, because before you know it, you'll be rocking around all day and you've got like 15 projects halfway done, and you're like, what did I do with, I worked so hard all day long and I'm tired, so I know I worked hard, but I got nothing done.
You got nothing to show for it.
Yeah. So it's lessons you learn, you know, as you go throughout, you know, working for yourself as an eBay or Amazon entrepreneur.
No, I love it. And I'll be honest with you. I look forward to talking with you again in probably 6 months. I want to see where maybe in August, I want to see where the progression is. I want to see, you know, because obviously you've learned a lot from August till now. And I'd love to see what you've learned from now till August. I know you got kiddos running around you, right?
Yeah,
test on time. And you know, Joe, I can't thank you enough for being here. Before I let you go, tell people, how can they get in touch with you if they're looking to buy some of your inventory, especially locally? How can they get in touch with you online if they want to see your YouTube and stuff like that as well?
If you go to conwayresale.com, it'll take you where we're there. It's got a contact page on there. It's got like a shop now. You can go to our eBay store or our Amazon store. There's links there. And then on YouTube, we're the Family Flips. I wish we had a lot more time. I mean, I'm like, you do great editing. You take a lot of pride in the work you do.
Thank you.
My wife and I are the same way. You know, she does all the editing. We just don't have time. So a lot of the videos that we do right now, they're all live videos because we have 3 kids. We have a business. We homeschool.
And I've seen your live videos. I love the energy in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not one to watch many people's live content, but it's very engaging. You guys look like you're having a great time doing this, which I love. We'll make sure that we put all of the links for everything in the description. And I understand, too, you know, you want to make a really nice 10, 15-minute video. It's 4 hours of work, you know. And people don't realize that, you know. And it might not even get 4 hours worth of views on the other side, so it's a little disheartening. It takes time. But I definitely look forward to speaking with you again here in 6 months, Joe. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. And if there's any questions, comments, I'm sure people will reach out to you for that, okay?
Awesome. Appreciate you, Jay. You have a good one. Appreciate your time.
Likewise, my friend.
Well, we got our little subscribe button popping up out of nowhere again. Thank you again so much to Joe for being on, and I want to let you know we are going to be talking to him a little bit sooner than expected. I think we're going to have him back in about 3 months because I'm going to have a lot more questions. I think it's important to be able to have some of that transparency, and Joe has been very nice about offering it up. Those of you who haven't been following the comments, he was more than nice to be providing additional information regarding what was going on with the issues that people were having with pallets and stuff like that. Let me figure out why my chat is not keeping up. Let me see if I can refresh this really quick and see if we can get that back on top. That is really, really odd. I'm going to see if I can get this fixed really quick while you guys are enjoying some of those comments. Feel free to let me know what you guys thought of that whole thing, because I thought it was pretty darn nifty. Give me 1 second real quick, guys. So sorry about this. It's just showing me a little arrow there, and it doesn't make any sense why it's not actually scrolling down. I think we just got maybe 1 too many comments coming in or something. That is a little odd. Okay. Let me try toggling back over to this one. Nope. It's a little stuck there. I take it we don't have any OBS experts out there in the crowd, do we? So I guess we'll just go ahead and I'll read my comments off to the side for now. I got some people saying cool and thank you. Again, yeah, serious thank you to Joe for sharing all that information, helping out with all the comments. I do want to let you know that next week we are scheduled to have another fellow YouTuber who specializes in the field of retail arbitrage by the name of Bearded Picker. His channel's over 50,000 subscribers. Last video, big video, hit 1.6 million views, talking about his exploration and retail arbitrage profits that he made at Walmart in a single day, over $2,000 worth of return on investment. Pretty amazing stuff. So we have him slated to be on the show next week. Week after that, we are looking to have Adam Miles on, and he's going to be talking with us about the importance of career coaching, life coaching, and how it can help improve your business. And then the following week after that, we are looking to who we have on. I'm trying to remember right now. Oh my God, I'm losing it right now. We have somebody. Oh yeah, we're gonna have. I believe we're gonna be having some Amazon lawyers coming on to try and help answer some of the hard questions that some people are having to deal with when it comes to copyright and trademark infringement on Amazon, and some of the things that you can do to protect yourself, especially with Vero violations and stuff like that, when brand holders go a little bit overboard and they try and take you out because they don't like the fact that you're selling their products. It's an important thing to understand and make sure that you have yourself covered in all regards. Let's see some of the comments here. American Pallet Liquidators. And Pam, it's all good. If you're doing pallets, you have a way to unload a lot of product locally. Yeah, it's very, very important to make sure you can unload that locally. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to try and fix this comment situation one more time. This is really, really odd as to why they're not actually moving for me, because I have no clue where it's fetching them from. Give me 1 second, guys. Chat properties. I can't seem to fix it, guys. The comments are just stuck. That's just how it's. I think that's just how it's going to be right now. It looks like they're kind of moving, but I don't know if they are or not. We'll figure it out, I suppose. Maybe it wants to scroll and I'm not allowing it to scroll. But we're going to move on to the next bit of news. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them as well. So, like I said earlier, this week's sponsor is Prairie Grit, and they announced 90s Week this week. This is something that I love about the company, is their ability to reach back out to the consumers. If you have something that you feel is reminiscent and brings back that nostalgia of the 90s, head over to their Facebook page, facebook.com/Prairie Grit. Add a comment to their most recent post where they're talking about 90s Week, and you can get selected to win a really, really awesome prize. So I want to, thank them again for being sponsors on this week's show. I just felt it important that you take an opportunity to go check them out. Like I said, pretty darn fantastic site, and there's going to be a lot more about that coming in the future. Pam looks like she's trying to, or Mindy looks like she's trying to move those comments. Yeah, I don't know why they're stuck, Mindy. I've done everything I could try and do. And we'll go ahead and let that comment through if you could. Thank you. And let's move on to our next story. Guys, something's up right now. I've reached out and talked with people over at Pirate Ship. There has been some changing in pricing as far as the market is concerned. Now, remember, I've always preached this. I said Pirate Ship is the cheapest or the same price as eBay guaranteed, and that's just how it is. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent. Pirate Ship has sponsored indirectly some of the efforts that we have had here. And it's with great unfortunateness, I must inform you that now eBay is actually cheaper than Pirate Ship when it comes to your priority packages, priority variable and priority flat rate. So if you're shipping those types of packages, it is going to be on average 3% cheaper to do those on eBay. Now I must say still, if you have a package that's between 1 and 20 pounds, okay, and you're going to be shipping it cubic is not available through eBay. It's only available for free through Pirate Ship. Available on other sites where you pay money, but it's the only available for free on Pirate Ship. So your packages 1 to 19 pounds, 19.9 pounds, still consider using Pirate Ship in the future. If you'd like to help support us in what we're doing, bit.ly/cheapship will get you over to our specific link so that you can help out with what we have going on. So, and I appreciate you guys trying to push that chat window, try and get it fixed for me. Like I said, I have no clue why it's busted. Let me try turning it off for a second, and then let's try turning it back on. Yeah, it's showing me this little arrow, and it refreshes for a second, but it's stuck, I think. There's not much I can do about that. So, but yeah, so be mindful of where you're shipping. You can always check both sites if you need to. That's the thing that is going to happen as well. So, moving on, guys. Like I said, we're going to be taking a look at my items on the week. As you can see behind me, we're not going to be using the Office effect right now because I've been getting some complaints. You guys are complaining whenever I lift up an item and it's green and you guys can see right through it. So we're just going to be using our green backdrop right now. We're going to be taking a look at the items that I got over the last 2 weeks. Now, this load is particularly dismal for a handful of reasons. Man, I think word got out that nobody had been sourcing this area. Did I run into a ton of resellers this week, and not only did I see them at my local stores, I also saw the remnants of their efforts at the post office. The post offices here have been getting so much volume that they just have these giant bins that they put out on the other side of the counter where you can dump your packages in there, and the amount of eBay branded packing materials that I see in there is worrisome. Because I'll tell you right now, people are competing, and they're competing hard. Now, I know they're not going out to the swap meet, but I definitely know that they're hitting my thrift stores because it's getting much, much harder to see them. Let's just see. Is it moving just slow? Roger says the blue arrow. I can't click on that blue arrow. That blue arrow it's static on my end. And to be honest with you, I don't even know where. I know it's fetching them from the link that I provided on a pop-out window. I'll tell you what, I'll try and fix it one more time. Let me see what we got here. We have to go to my actual video. So we got to go to youtube.com, get to my video. We're live right now. You guys might hear some sound cycling. There we go. Okay, got that muted. We got to get my pop-out chat. Copy that link. This is what I have to do every single episode, guys, just so you know. Chat. Go to Properties, Command A, Command V, hit OK. Let's see if it will populate. Oh, nope, it's still got that arrow. I don't know why that blue arrow is there. I couldn't tell you. No clue. I know last time we didn't have this many comments. Yeah, even if I refresh it, it's still not doing the trick. No clue, guys. No clue. If you have any killer suggestions, I'm all for it. Let me see if I... Oh, I think I got it. Yep, we got it. Our comments are fixed again. Okay, I don't know why, but somehow I just had to go over there and hit the little scroll wheel on the main page, and then Mindy had to give it a little bit of a push. I think that's what we needed as well. So thank you for that push. So we're gonna take a look at my items. The other reason why I'm very short-handed on items is last weekend it rained all weekend. This weekend it rained all weekend. It's very, very unfortunate. So I got a handful of things before I got completely rained out. And the thrift stores were pretty crummy as well. Now, some of these items I haven't seen for 2 weeks, so bear in mind, we're going to be looking at them. We got, starting off with one of my favorite categories, it is plushies. Look at the size of this. I probably shouldn't put it next to my face, but look at the size of this Bad Smaroo. It's a Sanrio character. And if Susan's out there, I want you to know I got this. And in the event that it's not worth anything online, which I highly doubt, then it's going to you. It just needs a little bit of cleanup. I was so proud when I found this bad boy because it's huge. Now, the first thing I check when I see these giant plushies is I want to make sure it's not foam filled, okay? Where if you give it the squeeze and it's got the foam pellets, I don't want any of that. This is an authentic one too, so it's got the actual plushy, squishy fill in there. Now, if you guys don't remember, I sold a couple of giant stuffed animals in my day. The last one I sold was a giant Pinky Pickle that I won at the fair. I think it cost me $10 to win it. It sold for almost $200 to somebody in Canada. I threw it in a giant box and shipped that bad boy out. And the other thing that you want to check for is you want to check for the tag, make sure it's authentic. If I had to take a stab in the dark, this bad boy is going to be worth about $100, maybe 80 at worst. But this is an older model Bad Smaroo. It may have even been a retail type setup because I don't remember seeing one this size actually selling. But yeah, great looking piece. Great bit of fun. I paid $3 for this bad boy. No complaints to get that for $3. Definitely keep your eyes open for big, high-quality plush. Up next, we got something for one of my favorite people. This is for Pam. Pam's a huge Powerpuff Girl fan, so if you have Powerpuff stuff that you're looking to either get rid of or maybe sell for cheap, reach out to Pam. I didn't even look this up. If I had to take a stab in the dark, probably $15 to $20 for this. This is a period piece back from when it came out. It's in really, really good condition. With these ones here, wherever you have the eyes that are actually kind of decaled on, usually you'll see cracking and fracturing across the eyes, or you'll see peeling or lipping. And I was very, very impressed. That's not cracking, that's just folding. I was very impressed with the overall quality on this piece, given the age. I think this is a 15-year-old plush. Really, really great condition. A little bit of wash-up will take care of it right away. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, too, with stuff like this. I don't really want to run it through the wash. This will come out with some spot cleaning. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, too, guys, before I get too carried away with the inventory for today. I want to let you know that I'm working on something right now. It is going to take a long time. I am in the process of producing an eBay, Amazon, Posh, Mercari, Etsy, whatever, all e-commerce. I'm producing a master class for resellers where we are going to cover everything. We're going to be covering how to adjust the tension on your tape gun. We're going to be covering how to spot clean stuffed animals. We're going to be talking about the proper way to stage your photos. We're going to cover everything within the world of reselling. And you're going to love this too. I'm giving it to you guys for free. I'm not going to charge anything for it. I'm not going to be selling a class. I'm not going to be selling a course. It's going to be 100% free. And it's not just going to be me making it. We're going to be calling on a lot of content creators to come together to make it happen. But it's in the works. Filming is getting started this week. And the entire class you can expect to be anywhere between 30 to 60 hours in length. And I know that sounds like a long time, but it's not for everyone. If you're serious about being a reseller and you're just starting out and you feel like it's something that could benefit you, or you just want to jump into particular classes where you feel you can learn more, it'll be a great resource for you. We're even going to cover how to go about sourcing, We're going to talk about negotiations. We're going to talk about everything. And I'm going to be speaking on the areas where I'm an expert, and we're going to be calling on other people to speak on areas where they're experts. While I'm on it too, if you feel like you're an expert in a particular category, generally we're talking a skill set. So we're talking about if you're a master packer, if you're a a master negotiator, if you're a master sourcer, if you have something that you're really, really strong in, we would love to talk with you. And if you're interested in being on my show, if you're interested in being part of what we're doing, being part of a future interview, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. We're looking to expand the brand and work with as many people who would like to work with us as possible. We're all in this together, and that's partly why everything I do is essentially free. It's all crowdfunded by people who want to make this happen. So let's take a look at a couple more items. Guys, this one's really cute. This is a brand I've never seen before. And I don't think the brand is truly amazing. I mean, it's good for what it is. I think they're really trying to go after a specific type of audience. This is Purely Luxe, L-U-X-E. These are brand new with tags. It's unfortunate that they wrote on the tags, but I might be able to lift that Sharpie off. I know that sounds crazy. How the heck do you lift Sharpie off of paper? But that's going to be one of the things that we're going to be covering in the class. So I got this peacock, and then I also got an ostrich. I paid, these were half off, so this one cost me $1.50, this one cost me $3. I was prepared to pay $3 each. A little funky how I read the tags, but either way, I got a great deal on these things, and they're selling on average between $17 to $20 a piece, actual completed sales. So I'm very happy to have these new with tags. Again, don't underestimate the value in plush. I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, Jay, is that all you got? Was a whole bunch of plush? No, but I did get a lot of plush this week because it's just competitive out there right now. And I don't want to say I really didn't get much this week, guys. It was a dry week for me. I picked up this. This is a Smith sharpening stone. I paid $1 for it. Again, guys, anytime you find something new in retail packaging with the barcode, just scan the barcode. If it's worth something on Amazon, then that's going to be your cue to pick it up. Just make sure it's something that you're allowed to send in. Yeah, they are cool. If you're interested in one, just let me know. If you're a patron, you get it at cost. So it would just be the $1.50 or the $3 plus shipping, and we'll send it out to you for cost if you're a patron. No extra money goes to me for those. What else do we got? Oh, I picked this up for me. I got this for half price too. It's an IQ workout. It's got 365 puzzles in it. I was going to put it next to my coffee maker, so that way I can actually do something with my brain while I'm waiting for my coffee to be made. Believe it or not, I usually do squats while I'm waiting for it to brew. But, yeah, do something a little bit different. Now, here's a cool one. I actually sourced this, and forgive the plastic bag sound, I sourced this at a comic book store. I tell people, too, it's important to make sure you build really good connections in the town that you're working in. This is Expose 1, and this is a digital art book. It has a collection of different digital art pieces, and I'll show you some of them. They're really, really beautiful, some of the stuff that's in here. You can see it. Isn't that just amazing art? So this showcases different artists, and this is one of the first books that came out of this genre, or by this brand, excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't want to just flip it on screen because there is some nudity on some of these. I'm trying to find something that you guys might find to be interesting. Yeah. I don't know. There's landscapes. This is all digitally done. I think it's really, really cool looking. But I picked this book up. I believe I paid $15 for it. It sells on Amazon for $45. I may actually keep it. I've kind of started to grow an affinity towards art and art media. So I may keep it. I may sell it. It's somewhere in the air right now. It's one of those things that I feel if I do sell it, I'm not going to come across another one again. So that would be kind of nice. To maybe just hang on to that one. We'll see. Yeah, guys, it's slim pickings this week. I picked up some plushies, some little Waka Waka plushies. So we've got the Pac-Man. We got Inky, Blinky. I can't remember this guy's. Carl? I don't remember what his name is. No. We got Inky, Clyde, and Ghost. It just says Ghost. So... yeah, I got all three of these together for $3.99. I don't even know what they're worth. I just know I can turn a profit on it. It wasn't even worth looking up. I tell you what, guys, we actually have the power of the internet back again, so we can actually look something up right now if you guys want. So www.ebay.com, Here, I'll show you. You guys are going to be blown away. Check this out. Does it work? It doesn't work. Why isn't it working? Oh, I'm on the wrong window. That's why. I'm a dummy. Okay, so there's the eBay. Let's see. Is that full screen? Yeah, that's full screen. Whoa. Okay, here we go. So let's look this up. What are we looking up? Pac-Man Ghost Plush. There were some money apparently. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing that we always do. We're gonna go to completed listings. We're gonna look for. Let's go ahead and do ended recently. Hey, it's a $20 plushie apparently. So people are buying them. Here's one for $14. It looks a lot smaller than mine though. I think this one is a bit closer to the one that I actually have. I think I did okay, guys. Looks like people are actually buying these things. That's kind of nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and toggle this back real quick. Get that back over. Yeah, that's something that I've been missing for a little while now, being able to do the web searching with you guys. We just had a lot of technical issues over the last few weeks, but I'm happy that it's back. Roger says, I sold one of those and got $19.99. Maybe that was your listing I just looked at. And then Mindy says Pac-Mans are coming back. I think there's been a little bit of a resurgence just because of the amount of movies that have integrated video game stuff into them, especially stuff like Ready Player One. And then we've also got the Wreck-It Ralph, and they've made a few remakes on those. So video game culture is really starting to work its way back again, which is kind of cool. So $3 in, I'll probably get $50 out. We got another plushie. This one's so cute. Now, there was a gentleman that I met. He told me this is Mammoth Mountain, which I assume is a theme park or something to that effect. I didn't look this up, but this thing is super flippin' adorable. I'd be shocked if this was worth less than $20. And here's the thing. If this item doesn't have any comps online, I'm just going to list this as a really adorable mammoth, and I think that the item is going to carry itself. I really think that just having a nice clean background, listing it correctly, I'll get probably even $30 for this thing. People buy plush. I sold that, I don't know if you remember that big Hulk Zoom plush that I had. It looks like a giant pill. That sold this morning for $45. So don't avoid the plush. Even that giant Charmander that I had a few weeks back, that sold almost immediately for $45, and that was in horrible condition. Remember, I told you, I'm like, I'm not going to clean it. I'm not going to wash it. I'm just going to list it as it is. And I put that in the description, like, you are going to have to clean this. I did not clean this. This was very much so loved. This is how it is, and somebody still bought it. So there are times where if you say, it's not worth the extra $15 to me to sit down and clean it, this is basically a leverage statement, don't clean it. Don't take the time to do it. If you feel confidently that you're going to be able to sell it, then list it up and actually get the dang thing sold. Roger says, keep it. You know, I might. This guy is adorable. Look at this. Look at these ears. Yeah. And let me ask you guys, too, because I'm not monitoring my stream in high definition. We have had so many issues streaming on YouTube. We've had issues with the video quality, sound quality, everything. How is the quality for you guys today? And if you have it, make sure that you click over there if you're on PC, and up there if you're on mobile, and click on the settings or the three dots and make sure you're watching this in high definition. Right now we should be streaming at 720p resolution. So if you haven't done that yet, please do that. Let me know how the quality looks for you compared to last week. And last week we had a lot of issues with buffering and lagging and people having dropped connections. How is your connection this week compared to last week? Did we get everything sorted out correctly? What else do we got? Somebody left this on my trash can. It's a brand new Subway hat. I have no clue why it was there. I'm assuming somebody placed it there, maybe stopped to tie a shoe or jump in a car and they forgot about it. Yeah. So I'm going to sell this. I'm sure it's worth $10, $12 online. I haven't looked it up. But why not? If you find something that you think you can sell, just get it sold. Guys, sad times. I think this is our last item. I found this Treasures of the Hard Rock Cafe. The place that I went to, they do hardcover books for $1 and softbacks for 50 cents or paperbacks. Holy cow. This is like another $40+ book. I really, really like the imagery inside of this book, though. Just really high high quality graphics, really glossy, sharp looking presentation the whole way through and through. Faux autographs on the front and back half, which really kind of accents the book nicely. But yeah, $45 for this bad boy on Amazon. Take home of about $20 to $24. But again, it was sitting there on the shelf. If you see something like this, book-wise, guys, and the book looks really interesting, looks really high quality, pull it up, scan it, see what it's actually going for. I actually did a cover scan on this one because it didn't have a barcode. Mindy says, no Mammoth Mountain plushies on eBay, sold or unsold. That means we're going to have to phone in an expert. Oh my God, I just bent the cover on that other book. My God, this is why I need to get my bins. I think it may have already had a crease though, but we're going to have to phone in an expert. Who do we call? I think we're going to have to call Tim on that one because Tim still has a TerraPeak account, I believe. So we're going to have to figure it out. And then Roger says you can mark it. You know where I'm probably going to put that bad boy? I'm probably going to put it on Prairie Grit. I'll be honest with you guys. When it comes to one-off items, that is a great place to land items because a lot of people are doing their shopping through Google Shopping. If that shows up and it's super, super unique and somebody can't find it elsewhere, I might as well sell it on there because I'm not going to pay any final value fees and I can make more money on it. Tim says, on PC now, looks fine, was running the past hour and was on an iPhone, no buffering at all. Awesome. Thank you so much. What we're going to try next week is we're going to try and go 1080p resolution, okay? And we're going to see if we can actually get away with that on the backup server. It would be really, really nice to if we could. I wonder if there's a way. I don't think I can do it right now because we're actually streaming right now. Output. I just have my bit rate. I'm gonna bring up the audio quality a little bit and see if everything stays stable right now too. So we just brought up the bit rate on the audio by about another 15%. Roger says I have sold 3,600 plushes in 7 years. That is an oddly specific number, 3,642. Oddly specific number, but I'm impressed nonetheless. That's certainly more than I've sold. Yeah, guys, that's it. Now here's the other thing too. I forgot to mention something on our last story, and this was something that I really wanted to touch base on at the end of that interview, and I kind of feel like I'm kind of slipping here because I forgot to mention this. I've been reading through a book recently that has really made me start thinking more and more about what's happening right now. It's called The Story of Stuff. It's by a lady named Annie Leonard, and I went ahead and marked out a couple of spots, and I just kind of want to share them with you. She said, in my youth, my youth was shaped along the lines of the World War II saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. There just wasn't a lot of superfluous consumption and waste going on in our house. We savored the things we had and took good care of them and kept them until every last drop of usefulness was gone. Okay. And then she also goes on to say, and another thing, why are electronics breaking so fast? And why are they cheaper to replace than repair? So I learned about planned obsolescence, advertising, and other tools for promoting consumerism. So this is something that me and Joe were talking about, and we actually continued the discussion outside of the interview in regards to just excessive amounts of consumerism and the fact that it doesn't seem to be slowing down. And this book really kind of leans on the fact that people are buying really, really junky stuff, and when it breaks, they're just replacing it and then replacing it and then replacing it because it's genuinely cheaper to continue to do that than it is for a lot of people to buy one good one that's going to last them an entire lifetime. I had somebody talking with me about my mic the other day, and I explained to him, everything that goes from this end here to the computer, it cost about $600 to go from one end to the other. So we have the mic, the cage, the stand, the arm, this $70 cable, and then an H6 field recorder that was like almost another $300, okay? Now, could I have gotten a much cheaper solution? Yes. I could have gotten a solution for $40, but my audio would sound like I'm talking through a shopping bag, and that might have been fine for a month or 2 months. And then I would have had to pay for another upgrade. Maybe I would have gone for a $200 microphone setup. And it would have been good. It would have been fine. I certainly could have used it for years, and I don't think anyone would have complained. But then eventually I would have gotten to where I'm at today, where I will never, ever have a reason to upgrade the rig that I have right now. This will not ever have a purpose for me to spend more money than what I've spent right now. And there's just not enough consumers actually doing that anymore. We are fine with buying good enough. And then when things break, we don't take the time to try and stop and fix and mend them and continue to use them. It's just the nature of consumers here in America nowadays. Now, when I say, when I'm talking about consumers, I'm referring predominantly to people who, who didn't live through that type of period in time. We're talking people 40 and under. In all reality, who are the ones who are the hyper consumers who are burning through stuff. Now, I personally own more stuff than I'm comfortable with, and I try and justify most of my purchases as either business expenses or quality of life expenses or things that improve, different aspects of my life. But I think we could all benefit from trying to, reduce the amount of stuff that we buy as a whole. But this all kind of ties itself full circle back to the thing that I was talking about earlier, where I truly am concerned about what is going to happen when no one is buying this stuff anymore. Out at the swap meets, I've witnessed swap meet vendors throwing away brand new stuff because no one wants to buy it. I've seen bins of stuff for $0.25 an item sitting there week after week. No one buys it and just straight into the trash. Because it's not even worth donating. Because what happens when it gets donated? It sits on the shelves there. No one wants it. Ends up at a different thrift store. Nobody wants it. They throw it on a pallet. They auction off the entire pallet of stuff that nobody wanted to buy. It ends up back at the swap meet. Okay? And then if the person there doesn't throw it in the trash, what do? They donate it back to the thrift store so they can get their tax credit. And we're seeing this cycle starting to happen. And I want to figure out what is it going to take to stop this cycle. And especially when we see Amazon really starting to crack down. And this is something that Rachel was touching base with Joe, as far as safeguarding yourself and safeguarding your account when it comes to, trademark infringement and copyright claims and things like that can jeopardize your ability to sell online. And I didn't just say sell on Amazon. I said sell online. You could have issues with both Amazon and eBay, and frankly, any platform you continue to go to, because it's not an issue with the platform, it's an issue with the brand holder. Okay? So when we have brands that aren't wanting anyone to sell their products, new or used, okay, they want to really lock down on that. You have brands that don't want you selling items used to fix their stuff. Okay? And then you have Amazon saying, we don't want any more of this chintzy Chinese junk on our site anymore, and they're starting to restrict categories, and they're starting to restrict items, and they're starting to restrict sellers, and people are just dumping their inventory, and it ends up on these pallets. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of great stuff on those pallets, and there's a lot of stuff that people can benefit from, but we can only benefit from so much of it. We're going to get to a point where it doesn't matter what the price is, we just don't want it, because we can't use it. It's like even this microphone, as great as it is, okay? Let's say we all could go to the swap meet and get one right now for $15, but we all already own one. Okay? We're not going to want another one. The market can't support more of it. You can't list it online at that point. Okay? Because no one's going to want it because we all have access to it at a good price. This is the really scary point. And like I said, if it goes full circle, what's going to happen? Amazon warehouses can't take more inventory. Buyers can't find more stuff to sell because it's all the same junk going in loops. It's a little bit of a scary time. But this is why I say diversify, diversify, diversify. Not even just in e-commerce. Make sure you're branching out further than that. We talked about strategic investments before. This is the last investment item that I told everyone to invest their money in. This is the Ravnica Mythic edition, Ravnica Mythic edition, collector's edition, Magic the Gathering trading card sets. These just came in. These had a buy price of $250. I used a bunch of coupons and promos and other stuff like that. I ended up getting somewhere in the area of about $30 cash back on it, so I'm into them for about $220 each. They're currently trading for $325. The other one that I made a buy recommendation on was the Magic Ultimate Master set, and I do recommend things outside of Magic, but I made a buy recommendation, basically a BOLO. Okay, and they were $245 per unit, and those are currently trading at $395 a unit. And within the next 7 to 14 days, mark my word, it will break the $400 mark for the first time. And I'll tell you, once you pass 400, you ain't going back. That's where they're going to keep going. And by the end of the year, analysts and specialists within the field are already projecting a $500 minimum by the end of the year. So that's another one of those things too. If you enjoy this show and you want to support us, you get information like that. That is behind the scenes information. We do not post that on our main page. We post that on our secondary page. On top of that, you're going to get something really, really fantastic. You're going to get these wonderful thank you cards for your customers. So if you have customers and you want to be able to give them a beautiful thank you card with your custom information, it'll say your name, it'll have your date on there, and I custom make these for you and I send them out. Come join us today, patreon.com/Bolarama. You can get this fantastic perk as well. Let's get that out of here. Don't need to be seeing that right now. So, let me catch up on these comments real quick. Treasure Hard Rock Cafe seems to go for $10 to $25. The price that I'm looking at is the Amazon price. So what we'll do right now, I'll even show you how I go about evaluating this one. So what we're using the Amazon Seller app, and it has the camera function on it. I'm sorry, I got a microphone in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the camera in the corner, and you'll see like all these little dots show up. And what they do is they actually scan the front of the item. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scan it in real quick. Now, is this the most accurate way to price the item? No, okay? Because you do have to watch out for variance when it comes to multiple covers being used. But in this one, we've just got a single one there. Now, I want to keep in mind, I scanned this a week and a half ago, okay? That's where I was looking at it. So, okay, today we're looking at a sale price of $26 and change, okay, with a take-home of $16. Now, I paid $1. You know, still a $15 profit in my pocket. So a new one looks like it's going for just a hair more, closer to $30. Now, obviously, there's going to be variations across platforms. It's going to happen. But for me, I send all my books into Amazon. It just makes life easier. I was finally able to get an order in the other day and start cranking that cash handle again. I've really missed my Amazon income, but with the move and the transition and everything, I just haven't had the time, means, or ability to get a whole order put together. Matthew Easton says, I am the same way, and I'm not over 40, LOL. I'm tired of that Chinese crap. I agree. And speaking of Matthew Easton, heck of a guy. Really, really have enjoyed getting to know the guy. Those of you who don't know, I met Matthew Easton through eBay. He had messaged me, and we were talking about sealed video games. And we had a wonderful talk on eBay. And he had talked to me about some of his concerns about doing business. And I had to affirm for him the quality of the items I had. I had to tell him, you know, hey, these items are some of the cleanest, best looking sealed video games you're going to find anywhere on the internet, period. These are top notch. These are high quality items. And I told him this. And he really found value with the amount of confidence in the words that I was saying. Well, we ended up talking more and more and more, and he explained to me that he has a condition which is causing him to lose his vision over time. And we also talked about some other things. He talked to me about his interest in becoming an eBay seller and being able to do more. He wants to do YouTube as well. And I said, do it. He said, what? I'm like, just do it. I feel like, what's his name? I can't remember. But I told him, I'm like, if you want to do it, do it. Nothing's stopping you. If you want to be successful on eBay, go for it. If you want to be successful on YouTube, go for it. And sometimes we have these limitations, but I told him, I'm like, you just got to push through. Now, he is a successful eBay seller in all regards. His first month, he's on track for, I believe, $700 his first month. And he's a patron sponsor of the show as well. And I don't believe any of this would have happened if we didn't stop and have that talk. And I tell people all the time, when you have interactions with people on eBay or Amazon or wherever, you are an ambassador of that brand. You're an ambassador of good faith. And you should give people the same amount of respect that you would online as if they were in front of you and you had the opportunity to shake their hand. And I can say now, you know, patrons current, patrons past, customers current, customers past, he's been one of my favorite people to talk and work with. And I get inspired by seeing what he's going through and the amount of drive and push that he has. Well, when we were talking on Facebook, he sent me a message that really kind of stuck with me and was really important. I asked for his permission to be able to tell this story on air and to be able to share that letter with you guys today. He says, man, Christmas time is hectic at my house. We have a big family and you get pulled every which way. So I was thinking, and I've been thinking about this for a while now, but I wonder if eBay is growing stagnant because there are a lot more social outlets to sell items now than, say, 10 years ago on other apps like Letgo, Facebook, and so on. Another thing too, and this is coming from a buyer's point of view, which is very important that we understand a buyer's perspective in this market. As sellers, it's very easy to get disconnected from the buyer perspective. I have to closely scrutinize every listing to make sure that I'm getting what is described. There are some really good sellers like you out there, but man, there are a lot of sellers that use wording to trick buyers and a lot of times leave out the most important aspects of the item. I can't tell you how many times I said, nope, I'm not doing eBay anymore after purchasing a particular item because it was nowhere near as described. So I'm wondering if buyer confidence has went down. Man, when I read that the first time, that really, really struck a chord with me. And it really motivated me to push further down this pipeline of where is the market really right now. When we talk about buyer confidence, I personally believe that he hit the nail on the head, and it's at an all-time low right now. Now, we talked with Dropship Tyler 2 weeks ago, and he said that the perspective of customer service, that every time we have a customer who is unsatisfied with a purchase, that we run the risk, and they say it's almost a guarantee, that we lose that customer for life. Okay? I talked with Shane, and like I said, he has a fellow YouTube channel. He got invited to a university to speak about his YouTube channel and his his RA program, Retail Arbitrage Program. And in that classroom of about 80 people, he said, how many people in here shop on Amazon? And somewhere in the area of about somewhere in the area of about 97% of the people raised their hand. There was maybe one or two that didn't. He said, okay, how many of you people in here shop on eBay? 5 people raised their hand. Okay. Now, that's a culmination of poor branding marketing, but that's also largely in part due to buyer confidence. People saying that they've been scammed, or they've been tricked, or their money's stuck in PayPal, or they're not allowed to use the service because of this, that, and the other, or they've heard, this is one of the biggest ones, they've heard or they know somebody who has had a bad experience online. Now, we can even take this further when we look at the buyer experience when we're talking about drop shipping, and how he himself, out of the last 10 items he ordered, 9 of them were, Not merchant filled. They were drop shipped orders. 9 out of 10 of his orders were drop shipped orders. So that already kind of sticks its nose into the problem. But to add insult to injury, the last 3 orders beyond that, so if we look at his last 12 orders, 3 of his orders were canceled on him from people that were unable to fulfill the order that they had taken from him. And it really, really blows my mind. And the thing is, he's not alone. I'm an eBay seller, but I am an active eBay buyer. I don't trust the platform as much as I used to. I had a little circle light, and we were talking with somebody, we were talking with Dropship Tyler about that. I had that little circle light, and I was misled about the location that item was coming from, and I requested a full refund. This book, I was told, was in good condition, and it was not marked as being a library book, okay? I wasn't told that there were stamps on it, okay? I contacted them. They gave me a full refund. I really wanted to have a nice copy of this. The next book, though, I ordered 2 books last week. This is Tribe of Mentors. This is a book that I really, really, really wanted to get for myself, read through this book, and then as I did my travels this summer, I wanted to not only give this one away, but I wanted to give away copies to my patrons when I met them in person, okay? But I wanted to give away the personal copy that I read through, as something that was important to me. But look at this. It's covered in glue all over the face of it, okay? And the corners are smashed up because of the way it was shipped. And I really wanted a nice clean copy of this book because it's something that I'm going to be handling in my hands for, 15 hours as I read through it. And it's just so disappointing to know my last 3 transactions that I had on eBay were all poor experiences. Now, me as a personal seller, I can suck it up and I can deal with it. As problems happen, I'm a lot more forgiving. But if I was just the average consumer, would I be okay with that? Probably not. You know, I mean, imagine if you went to Walmart, you bought 3 things, you came home and all 3 things were garbage. Okay, would you really want to go back and continue spending money there? And the thing is, eBay was in a position for a very long time where not only was it a better platform, but they were the only option. When there's certain things you want, you got to go there. That's not really the case anymore. With as many other platforms that are rising up, we're seeing a bigger emphasis on other facets of the business beyond what you're buying it for and what you're selling it for. We're seeing emphasis on the customer experience. We're seeing emphasis on the social experience, whether it be social media marketing or working directly with the customer. We're seeing companies like Ruby Lane, which we're going to talk about here in a second, really upping the standard of the visual aesthetic on what's going on with the product. To add insult to injury, I messaged the person. I said, hey, you mark this as very good, and I paid extra because I wanted a very good condition copy of the book. I paid extra money than I would have paid elsewhere to get this book. I included pictures of the damage to the book, and I wasn't fishing for a full refund. You know what I was fishing for? I was fishing for an apology. I was fishing for somebody to take ownership. And I didn't even throw out the I'm a fellow seller card yet. But I sent a message. I was so polite and cordial. And I included a couple of photos of the damage. And I get a message back, and it's a generic message. Okay? It says, please leave your reply above this line. And it has just nonsense below it. Like, if you're having a problem, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I send another message back. I'm like, hey, don't send me an automated message, okay? I'm a fellow seller. I'm trying to work with you right now. Can we please get this sorted out? And they send a message back says, we can't help you unless you provide pictures of the item. I send them another message. I'm like, hey, I provided you pictures of the item the first go around, okay? Please go back and check them. I really don't want to have to open a case. I just want to be able to work with you to sort this out. And then I get another message back. It says, thank you so much for contacting customer care. My name is such and such. If you need anything else, let us know. And I said, really? I'm like, is this really like what is going on right now? And I sent that message to him. And she says, because you said that you were going to be opening a case, we can no longer assist you. And I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I'm gonna have to spend my time opening a case, re-uploading photos again, waiting the process through, possibly having to stop what I'm doing, pack this, and return it back to them. Over what? $12. And it's just such a poor customer experience. And it shouldn't be happening. And it makes everyone look bad. And I go and I look at their store, and they're a mega volume dealer. 700,000 feedback, 10,000 feedback this month alone, 300 negative feedbacks plus this month. I think it was around 360 when I looked at it last. How? How is this possible? How is this allowed? How are we tolerating this still? There's going to be no repercussions from eBay for this either. They're just going to continue to sell and do business as usual. That's just all there is to it. So in response to Matthew, Matthew, yes. In response to Matthew, yeah, buyer confidence is way down. Way, way, way down. And unless you're doing something to visually set yourself apart from the competition, that is why you can expect lower sales. Trust me when I say this. Take time to make sure that your listings look the part of someone who cares about their item. So we're talking about taking beautiful photos, not good photos, beautiful photos. Show that you care. In your descriptions, make sure you show that you care. Now, you don't necessarily have to outline every aspect of the item or even say anything about the item if it's not necessary. But tell them the things that they might want to know. Pet-free house, smoke-free house. Check out my metrics. I ship my items exceptionally quick. Don't be like my lazy roommate who has 5-day handling on their listing. If you can do 1-day handling, do 1-day handling. Show your customers you care. Put a little bit of emotion into your listing. It'll make the difference more than you might imagine if people realize that you care about the job you have. I've been a seller on eBay since, 2005? 2003, I've been a seller on there. I have 100% positive feedback with 5,400 feedback right now. just try. Just try. Do your job. Take the time and get plugged into programs like this and try and learn. This is a great time to mention again, guys. If you don't have a mentor, and here's the thing, don't even have to be me. There's a lot of great mentors out there who know what they're doing. But find someone that has fact-based empirical data and can push you in the right direction and make your business what it needs to be. If you need help, message me. Message one of our admins. Message anyone. Okay? If you need help, I'm here for you. Call me. I'll take care of you guys wholeheartedly. Okay? What do we got next? And thank you again to Matthew for sending that in. And I'm genuinely proud of what you've accomplished over the last month. It is impressive. And keep it up. And if you need help, you know I'm here for you. Let's catch up through these comments real quick. Matthew says, I'm going to double that this month. Watch. I look forward to it. I really do. I know you can. I know you have it in you. We talked this week with him about alternatives and sourcing. And then I talked with another patron this week regarding pricing strategies. So these are important things to know. Mindy says, well, that's the last thing I'm going to buy on eBay. She said it's very stupid what I'm having to deal with. And should look like a catalog close as you can. Oh, yeah, as far as your listing. Yeah, when a catalog's available, make sure you use it. But there's been catalog issues too. But that's for another episode. What do we got next? Tiny Bits, guys. Tiny Bits, we're at that part of the show where we're going to be talking about little things that are going on. But you know what? I'm feeling a little bit after that last story. So let's play a little bit of some chill music. Let's get these moods, back up again. Let's enjoy ourselves a little bit because, boy, sometimes it can be a bit much. So, Tiny Bits this week, guys. eBay branded shipping supplies are no longer accepting PayPal. I don't know if you guys noticed this. I went ahead and put my store back to where it was before. Mind you, I paid a $173 early termination fee to downgrade my store before. I reached out to them just over the phone care. I didn't reach out to domestic team or anything. If you've downgraded your store and you decide you want to go back, I asked for my money back and they went ahead and put it onto my next bill. It also made me eligible to get a $50 shipping supply credit, which I went ahead and promptly used. And that's when I noticed my $3.46 worth of tax on a $46.60 purchase had to be paid via a debit or credit card. But my debit card is a PayPal debit card, so robbing Peter to pay Paul just came from one spot to another. But yeah, if you're using PayPal and PayPal only, the eBay store, which I'm happy to say, because it would make them hypocrites otherwise, you can't use PayPal any longer. Those of you, for some reason, who have been living underneath of a rock, don't forget that PayPal is switching over to Adyen, which is integrated payments, by the end of this year, meaning you will no longer be able to use PayPal on eBay to accept or make payments by the end of the year. Now, there is workarounds to that, whether it be utilizing a merchant account or a PayPal business account or a PayPal merchant business account, which I think is completely different, which I recommend get approved for that early rather than later, or whether you're diversifying your inventory onto other platforms where you can sell them for less and potentially make more. Hint, 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 this guy down here. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, but make sure you're ready for that change when it does happen, okay? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen hard, and people are going to panic. And on top of that, make sure you're ready in the event that sellers like drop shippers fall off of the platform over the next 6 months to a year as eBay tightens down their hold on those types of sellers. We're going to see the platform shift a lot. It's important that you stay plugged in and stay in the know. In other news, boy, oh boy, I couldn't believe it. Guess what happened? This channel hit 500 subscribers. That's right, guys. Don't forget to slap that like button, too. It's really, really important for this channel because it helps us get more traction. But also, make sure you subscribe as well. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, we need you to do it. We also have an Instagram that you can follow to get plugged into that. Pam will be providing links on that sidebar for that, too. But boy, oh boy, we hit 500 subscribers. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not going to be more than a couple of weeks, and I think we're going to hit 1,000. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to be a guest on a special podcast that's coming out this Friday. Details will be followed up on our Facebook group. You can get to our Facebook group by that link up above, bit.ly/Bolorama, and you can get plugged in on all the most important stuff, whether that be things to buy, things to watch, things to sell, things to learn. There's a lot of stuff going on within the group, so make sure you stay plugged into that. But yeah, a small, I guess, pat on my own back for hitting 500 subscribers. It's been a long, long grind, and I want to give a special thank you to the people who helped me get there, every one of you who did subscribe to my channel, and a very, very special thank you to people like Pam, Mindy, and all of the others who have gone out of their way to make sure that people know about me. And been sharing my videos. I see it and I appreciate it. And also a big thank you again to all of our patrons. Let's get back to that slide. Where is it? Look at that. Thank you again to all of our patrons for helping us get to 500 subscribers as well. So, in the last little bit of tiny bit, guys, did you hear that e-commerce Bytes did a 2019 marketplace rating survey? They basically asked participants to jump in and give their 2 cents on what they felt the best platform on the internet was. And here's their ratings. Now, bear in mind, this is very, very, very biased. One, there isn't a control group. There is no sample information. We don't know if this was, 10 people or 10,000 or 100,000. And again, no control. These are people who are actively engaged within the field of buying, selling, or reseller news who participated in this survey. But if we look at I've got to point the wrong direction. If we look all the way up at the top, Etsy ranked in number one for number one for overall performance. But if we look at the individual metrics, stuff like customer service and communication, that went to Ruby Lane by a very small margin. And if we look at things like ease of use, that went to Poshmark as well as Bonanza. Simply put, it's because of their import tool and their easy checkout process. And then the one that would be recommended to friends also went to Ruby Lane. eBay did snag the spot for profitability, and that is wholeheartedly because of dropshippers and nothing else. We both know that fees are going up on the rise as well. Roger Kieserling just joined Patreon. Let's give him some clapping emojis somewhere in the chat. Thank you so much for your contribution, Roger. We truly do appreciate it. Every patron helps make this program better. As you can see, I've made all these upgrades. Thank you so much for that, Roger. You will not at all be forgotten for your contribution. And again, thank you to all the people who were patrons before. And I understand, not everyone's going to stay a patron forever. Maybe you just want to help out for a month. Maybe you want to just access the private training videos or one-on-one help with me for a month or two and just give me a little bit of support. That's fine as well. I understand. And then some people, you know what? You're just going to grow out of me. You're going to say, hey, Jay, I'm making $50,000 a year. I helped you out for like a year or two. I think I kind of got it down now. Not a problem, guys. Come and go as you please. We're happy to have you for as little or as long as you stay. But, like I said, here's the rankings. Kind of cool information to take away, but my biggest takeaway? I didn't know what Ruby Lane was. It's probably because I don't specialize in those types of items. Antiques, glassware, and collectibles. Now, that's something that Prairie Grid has been known for, but they're expanding way outside of that now. All your popular categories that are available on other selling sites are now available on Prairie Grid. They're not just a collectibles and antique site anymore, but Ruby Lane, purely collectibles and antiques. And I will say this as well. Boy, is that a beautiful website. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. That is a mighty beautiful website. Those photos on there, I don't know how it works. I don't know if people are sending their stuff in and having them photograph them and then they're handling the sales. I have no information on Ruby Lane. And Mindy says Ruby Lane was high end. They're very, very, very high end from the looks of it. I saw a couple of things. I'm like, oh boy, that's beautiful. I'm like, I want to get that for my desk. And I clicked on it. It was like $1,200. I'm like, that is not happening today. So, beautiful, beautiful website. I'm going to get some more information about that site for next week just because it'd be nice to know more about a company that's so highly rated and see why they are so highly rated. Just be good information to have. So, guys, we're going to have a couple of minutes left here. I don't think I have anything else that I wanted to cover today. I think that was everything. If you have any questions, now is a great time to ask them. I want to thank all 20 of you that are actively watching right now for sitting through everything. If you missed any part of this show, the entire show is available for replay. As soon as this ends, you'll be able to see it. On top of that, that special interview with Joe Rensing of Conway Resale is available as a standalone video on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/pickups. Slap that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, guys. It truly does help us out with what we're doing. But if you have any questions, now's a good time to ask. Next week, we're going to be taking a look and talking with, I'm so sorry, Bearded Picker, a.k.a. Scott Zilt, regarding his business, his profitability, what he's doing to make waves within this category. He's also got a fantastic Patreon going on as well, where he's giving out some really, really good bolos. Now we know a thing or two about bolos, but a lot of the bolos we look at are antique and collectible type bolos. He's giving out bolos on stuff that you can go to Walgreens right now and buy. I've seen some interesting ones this week. Now, me personally, I don't chase retail bolos, but I can understand if you want to go out and you want to make $100, $200, sometimes even as much as $2,000 in a day, depending on the product, depending on the amount of money you have on hand, it's going to be an interesting episode to stay tuned for. Now, if you have anything in specific you want to see covered in our show, let us know. There's 1,000,001 ways to get in touch with us. The best way, though, bit.ly/Bolorama and join our Facebook group to learn more. That being said, guys, I think we covered everything. Looks like we don't have any questions coming in. Mindy Coy says, thank you for the subscribe to Jay's channel, Roger. Cool. So, yeah, I think that's everything, guys. Today is Sunday, February 10th, 2019. This has been the Reseller Roundup. Boy, has it been a fun episode. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to do my hardest to make sure that I come back with more items than I had last week. Also, my sincere apologies for not updating the outro. It's been a busy week. Look at all this. Look at all this madness. I apologize. So thank you to our newest patrons. You get a personal thank you. Callie, Joe, and Mr. Kieserling himself. Okay? The two Joes. Joe and Roger. So thank you to the three of you. But everyone else, you're going to be in the credits. If you'd like to be in our credits, I think they're beautiful looking, but we're going to completely redo them. Hopefully by next week, I'll make sure that everyone's name's in there. Thank you so much for watching tonight, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Oh, and remember, this is really important, okay? If you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great night, guys. I'll see you soon.